Hello everybody, this is Will from Will of Gaming, and welcome to my first ever video game review. The game that we are reviewing today is Destiny. Does this game live up to the hype, or does it fall forever under Halo's shadow? Let's find out.
Guardian? Eyes up, Guardian.
It worked. You're alive. You don't know how long I've been looking for you. I'm a ghost. Actually, now I'm your ghost. And you've been dead a long time. So you're gonna see a lot of things you won't understand.
Activision and Bungie are at it again, but this time they're going multi-platform with the brand new game Destiny, which is supposed to be an open world MMO shooter that you can play with friends. Now, while playing this game, I did not understand the story at all. Kind of just forgot that it existed and just kind of went with the flow doing the missions. So I had to look to Wikipedia to find out exactly what the story is. So brace yourselves. Here is what Destiny is about. Destiny is set 700 years into the future in a post-apocalyptic setting following a prosperous period of exploration, peace, and technological advancement known as the Golden Age. In a universe where humans have spread out and colonized planets in the solar system, an event known as the Collapse saw the mysterious dissolution of these colonies, the end of the Golden Age, and mankind teetering on the brink of extinction. The only known survivors of the collapse are those living on Earth who were saved by the Traveler, a white spherical celestial body whose appearance centuries before had enabled humans to reach the stars. The Traveler now hovers above the last saved city on Earth, and its presence allows the Guardians, the defenders of the city, the ability to wield an unknown power only referred to as the Light. Upon mankind's first attempt to repopulate and reconstruct after the collapse, it is discovered that hostile alien races have occupied mankind's former colonies and civilizations and are now encroaching upon the city. The player takes the role of such guardian and is tasked with reviving the Traveler while investigating and destroying the alien threats before humanity is completely wiped out. Thank you, Wikipedia. That was absolutely wonderful. It was really hard to follow any of that in the story. Kind of just shows you spacemen walking on Mars, and you see this big white ball, but it really doesn't tell you what it is. And even though that they keep talking about the Traveler in the game, you really don't know what it is. I didn't even know what that celestial ball was. No idea. But anyways, that's one of the problems of Destiny, is that it's a very forgettable story. It's easily just brushed off aside, and there really feels like there's no purpose in playing this in the story aspect. However, in the story missions, unfortunately, it's a lot of repetitive back and forth stuff. What you have to do is that you just have to start the mission, shoot a couple of enemies on the way there, deploy a ghost, get the information that you need, fight another horde of enemies, and your mission is done. Sometimes they alternate it, like you have to destroy something or you have to deploy the ghost in 3 different places, but it's always the same thing. Every single mission is like that. And that's kind of sad. That's why the story of Destiny gets a 4.0 out of 10. The graphics and environments in Destiny are absolutely breathtaking. There are times where I have to just stop the battling and just sit back and just enjoy what I'm looking at, being in this magical world of space. However, there's a problem. This game wants you to explore. At least for me, that's what I get out of it. I want to explore. I I want to explore everything that I see. Can I make it to that mountain at the end of the screen? Can I make it to this city that I see very, very far away? Can I jump into the water and swim? You want to explore because the world of Destiny is just that graphically beautiful, and it's just everything around it just screams, explore me. But unfortunately, you'll always be left with the message saying turn back with the timer or death, and that is so disappointing. In a game of the grand scale as Destiny, especially with Bungie behind it, I was expecting a little more, especially the way that the trailers were explaining how the game was going to be, and unfortunately we were misled in that department. Graphically, Destiny is amazing. Location-wise, it's amazing. In the game, you only go to 6 locations. You have the tower, which is the main hub where you get all your missions, where you turn in all your missions. You can buy weapons and ships and different armor and dance with your friends. And this is the only place where you see your character in third person. Next, we have Earth, which is home of the Cosmodrome. And its only place is in Russia, which is kind of just gritty. It's ugly. It's just a lot of pretty much just an aging, post-apocalyptic looking Earth. Looks like it's been abandoned and left to rot. And that's what the Cosmodrome is. The moon is personally my favorite. It's not a planet, it's a moon, but it is an absolute beauty to look at. When the moment that I first landed on the moon and I saw that Earth was in the moon's place, and you just see the stars and you see the ground light up white and just mixing all that together. Such a beautiful atmosphere, and I really wanted to explore the moon. Next planet we have is Venus. And Venus is an okay planet. I have to say it's my least favorite. It has vegetation, it has like water spots, and I guess some sort of volcanoes in the background, kind of a yellowish sky at times, buildings, like it looks like statues of, I guess, the goddess Venus. And next we have Mars. Mars is the red planet, and Mars looks absolutely beautiful in both night and day. And you can just see, even though it looks like it's empty, there's buildings in the background, it's just still something really nice to look at. And it's a definite plus in my book. Also, the characters and the locales in this game are only in the hub. And unfortunately, none of them talk. They'll say a few words here or there, like hello Guardian or something, but it never goes any further than that. You don't care about any of these people. There's no interaction except for the characters that you play with in the game, like your friends. That's it. You get more action dancing than you actually do with any of the characters in this game. So really, there's no reason to care for any of these characters. That's why the environment gets a 7.5 out of 10. The controls in Destiny are exactly what you expect them to be. Familiar. If you've ever played a recent shooter, it pretty much feels exactly like what you've played before. The only thing that's different and that separates Destiny from all other first-person shooters is that there are different classes that you can work with. Even though the controls are familiar, each character feels different, and that is what you have to get used to. For example, we'll start with the Titan. If you play as the Titan has really strong armor, really good for up-close and personal battles, and really good combat. His secondary, he has good recovery, which means that his health can regenerate fast and can get right back into the battle taking more hits. However, the Titan lacks in agility. The Hunter. The hunter lacks in both armor and recovery, but excels in speed. Speed is the name of the game when you play as the hunter. It is absolutely recommended that you use a sniper rifle or any long-range weapons when using the hunter. The hunter also has a sneaky side and can also be using its blade as a blade dancer, go invisible, do other things in the game, and it's really, really cool when you play as the hunter. If you are a person that likes to use sniper rifles and likes to stay kind of out of the battle and stay in a safe distance, the hunter is an absolute must for you. Finally, the Warlock. The Warlock is the character that I picked, surprisingly. Normally I would pick the hunter, but the Warlock just seemed more my style. The Warlock, in my opinion, felt like he was in the middle of what the hunter was and what the Titan was. Had really great recovery, but didn't have the greatest armor, but could stand tall in battle, in close-up range and far. You need just a little bit of distance when playing as the Warlock. Finally, if you want a somewhat balanced character, Warlock is definitely a class that you should probably try. Finally, we have the modes during gameplay. So what exactly do you do in Destiny? Well, there are many modes that you can play. You can play the story mode, which progresses the story. You can play patrol missions, where you do little minor missions such as scanning the environment, looking for certain items, killing certain enemies, and collecting bounties. Then you can also do bounties. Bounties are the best way to level up your character if you're a single player type person. You can do these missions or requests from the robot in the tower. Do these little missions. You can only carry 5 with you at a time, and you can get a ton of XP just for doing these bounties. Next, we have strike missions. Strike missions can be played with 2 other friends or random people, but it's always in a team of 3. You play a mission where it's bosses, hordes of enemies, and these missions are pretty tough if you're not meeting the level requirement. However, it is a really fun challenge, and I feel like this is where Destiny really shines, is when you play with friends on strike missions. And lastly, we have raids. Raids I personally haven't been in, but from the stories that I hear, raids are really, really tough. They're basically like strike missions, but require a team of 6, and they need to be people from your friends list. On top of that, you need to be at a high level, like really high level, to play these. These missions are long, these missions are hard, and they're full of bosses and full of hordes of enemies. It's an absolute scary, scary thing, and the rewards from raids I hear are amazing. It's a great mode to play with friends. That's why I give the gameplay a 9.0 out of 10.
The tower. We find them. We can help the city.
Moving on to sound.
Already
The sound effects in this game are absolutely amazing. Every gunshot that you hear, every growl from an enemy, every hit that you get, everything in this game, and sound effects wise, is on par of what you would expect from a Bungie game. So if you ever played Halo, or if you ever played any other game that Bungie made, you would know that the sound is top notch. Moving on to the music. The music in Destiny is amazing. Beautiful orchestral pieces, operatic voices, choruses, everything that you can expect set up the tone on this game very, very well. It's amazing the amount of sound and everything that you get from this game. It's just nothing short but amazing. Finally, the voice acting. Peter Dinklage does the voice of the Ghost. He plays Tyrion Lannister on Game of Thrones. And even as an unforgettable character as he is on that show, his voice acting falls really flat here. It's actually very disappointing. Most likely, you're going to be drowning out his voice. Because since the sound effects are so loud and so on par, the voice acting is where it kind of slips. You kind of just lose. You're more focused on the battle than you are of hearing people actually talk. You're more focused on the layout or the environment than you are of actually hearing what is actually being said to you. Since the game kind of shows you where to go with arrows and everything like that, the voice acting falls short. I don't blame Peter Dinklage, I blame the writing. The story isn't that great to begin with, and therefore it could just be easily just tossed aside. That's why I give the sound an 8 out of 10. Moving on to the competitive multiplayer. This mode is called the Crucible and can be found on the right of Earth. The Crucible unlocks at level 4, and you can start playing modes. The 4 modes are Control, which is a domination Call of Duty-like game where you have to take over territory. There are 3 points in the map, A, B, and C, and you have to try to take over that territory. The more territory you claim, the more points you gain. Your opponents can start stealing your territory, and that's where the problem begins. You have to try to even fight to keep your territory, or try to fight to get territory. So this game is a constant back and forth fighting until the timer runs out. The team with the most points wins. Moving on to Clash mode. Clash is team deathmatch. You versus your team of 6 versus another team of 6. Each kill is worth a certain amount of points, and the amount of styles that you put into it, like for example, killing an enemy with a super or kill an enemy with a melee attack, give you more points than just regular shooting them. Get an opponent with a headshot, that's more points. So the team with the most points at the end of the match wins. Moving on to Rumble. This is a 6-player free-for-all match. You are a lone wolf in this mode, and your job is to get as much kills as you possibly can. Get the most points to stay number 1. Finally, there's Skirmish mode. It's a 3-player tactical game. It's a team of 3 versus another team of 3. This is pretty much what Deathmatch is, except that you can be revived by your teams. Each revival gives you an additional 50 points. So, that's pretty much competitive multiplayer in a nutshell. Me personally, I'm not a fan of the multiplayer, even though it is definitely fun to play with friends. It is also a great way to level up your character, and also a great way to have some competitive fun if you're a competitive person. I give the multiplayer an 8.5 out of 10. So in conclusion, Destiny is great to play with friends, has fantastic environments, and has really great fun competitive multiplayer. The bad: lack of a story, lack of exploration, and feels too much last gen. What I mean by feels too much like last gen is that it doesn't feel like Destiny doesn't do anything new. It does try new things, but it's mostly aspects from other games like Borderlands, or stuff that you've played last gen and kind of mixes it into one game. It feels like Destiny doesn't have its own identity. It feels like it's constantly under Halo's shadow. Destiny isn't really a big MMO, and you shouldn't look at it like it is a big MMO. It's a great fun way to play with friends, and there are ways that you can do missions and feel accomplished. But I feel like the game isn't complete, and future DLC may remedy a lot of problems that I say on this review. But unfortunately, Destiny as a launch package, isn't worth a full $60 price. My suggestion: wait for a Game of the Year edition. That's when you should make your purchase if you're still interested in Destiny. That's why Destiny gets a 7.4 out of 10. Thanks for watching.